I've just got back from a hiking trip with my 26-year-old son, which was the first time I'd hiked with anyone else in about 8 years. And to say it was a little bit stressful is an understatement. We hiked 97 miles together on the West Highland Way in Scotland. And this was his first ever backpacking trip, which added to the stress. Anyway, hiking with someone else got me thinking about why I prefer hiking alone. And I thought I'd share those reasons with you today and see if any of it resonates with you. Friends and family think I'm crazy going hiking alone. And when I ask why, the most common answer, predictably, is it's so risky, you take so many risks. But my absolute favourite answer was from my niece, and she said, bugs! Well, at least it's not bears. Bears are not on the list. The first reason I prefer to hike alone is freedom. It's completely priceless. You decide where you're going to go, what you're going to do, how long it's going to take you, how many miles you're going to walk each day. You decide whether you're going to stop. It's your choice whether you want to sit in a cafe for 3 hours or take a day out and go and see some sights. One of the more practical aspects is while camping, it's so much easier to find a little spot for one tent than it is for two. And you have complete flexibility. You're not waiting for other people. Oh my God, where is he? You're not trying to catch up. And that's it, in a nutshell. Absolutely zero compromise. Hot chocolate is good. The second reason I love being on my own is peace. Have you ever walked with anyone and just wished they would shut up for 10 minutes? When I'm alone, I really settle into the peace and quiet and the solitude, and I love the feeling that I don't have to engage with somebody else rather than what's around me. With other people, I can't stop and watch a beetle or listen to birdsong without feeling guilty that I'm ignoring someone. When I'm with someone else, I feel like I'm missing everything I'm really there for. I remember years ago now hiking with someone on the Southwest Coast Path for 5 days, and all they did was talk about hiking in Crete. I'm sorry, but I was there to experience what was around me there and then. I don't care about Crete. And if you don't shut up, I'll push you over a cliff. I didn't, by the way, just in case you needed to know that. But I want peace, and if I don't, I'll put on headphones or go to a cafe. Which brings me to reason number 3. You're not alone unless you want to be. Unless you're out in the wilds, there are generally other hikers around, especially on national trails. The West Highland Way was probably the most sociable trail I've ever hiked. You can stop and chat if you want to. I've even had people tag along with me for a few miles on some hikes. You can chat to people in cafes, even campsites, but again, it's having the choice. You don't have to be sociable if you don't want to be, and no one's going to be grumpy if you prefer to stay in your own little world, which is quite often where I like to be. I enjoy being alone. It's relaxing and it calms me, which is good for my mental health, which happens to be the 4th reason I like to solo hike. Hiking, I think, is one of the reasons I'm still here, to be honest. It sounds really melodramatic, but I've been seriously ill with depression on so many occasions over the years I can't count. It can be really difficult to get outside when you're that low, let alone go hiking. But I don't think I've ever regretted making the effort to spend some time in nature. Hiking gives me the opportunity to sink into my own head for reflection or try and work things out. And I'm a mover. If I'm stressed, anxious or agitated, I get instant relief by moving, whether it's a 30-minute run or a multi-day hike. It also gives you the opportunity to get outside of your head if that's what you really need. You can just focus on the world around you. One thing I find important is to see the horizon, and purely due to geography, that happens to be the horizon over the sea because I have easy access to it. A horizon or staring up at a vast starry sky makes me feel small and insignificant, like I'm just this teeny tiny blip in evolution, and that the world will keep turning just the way it has for millions of years. It's weirdly comforting. And another thing that makes me feel alive is a challenge, which is number 5 on the list. Personal challenges and goals can help with motivation if I need it, and I often invent them on the fly when I'm hiking. They're usually simple and based around the distance I want to do, especially within a particular time frame. Something like, if you walk 10 miles before lunch, you can stop for a couple of hours for a coffee. It's especially useful if it's pouring with raining in the morning and it's too cosy in the tent to get up. I love planned challenges too. They can be a lot of fun, whether it's doing something like the 3 Peaks challenge or a made up challenge, which I do every year, and I call the 12 days of Christmas challenge. So I try and walk an average of 12 miles a day over the 12 days of Christmas, which really sets me up for the new year. It makes me feel like I've achieved something early on, and it's really, that sense of elation that you get when you finish a challenge. You just can't beat it, especially if it seemed like it was difficult or that you'd never manage it. So yes, number 5 on the list is a good challenge. Number 6 on the list is self-reliance. Learning to rely on your instinct to plan for different eventualities or take calculated risks is really empowering. Getting yourself back on track if you get lost, or navigating your way across open country makes you feel freaking awesome. When you solo hike, it forces you to be creative or inventive when something goes wrong, like how to keep dry and warm when your tent pole fails, or when wildlife comes to say hello. It forces you to consider your limits and when it's prudent to push them and when it's not. You're constantly making judgments that will keep you safe or comfortable or stimulated. You're responsible for your own happiness, and going solo, you can be you again without compromise, and I love it. And I love planning a project too. There's no one else to blame if it all goes tits up, and you have to sort it out yourself. And when it all runs smoothly, you can pat yourself on the back and feel very smug. Thank you very much. I'm not sure whether this final point should be a reason in its own right, but resilience is the sum of all of them, and I think that it's the most important thing about hiking. Everything you learn or difficult situation you go through teaches you skills that you can apply to all aspects of life, whether you realise it or not. Little by little, you learn to bounce back from setbacks more quickly because you know you can deal with the unknown, or take on a big project that has lots of little parts that need to be organised and coordinated, and that feels pretty awesome when you realise you can do that. The benefits of building resilience can't be overestimated, especially if, like me, you suffer with depression or low self-esteem or any illness. And for women too, I think women in particular, in my generation anyway, are taught to be reliant, that other people will look after you just as you're supposed to look after everyone else before yourself. Well, no. Building resilience through self-reliance is empowering, and that's a wonderful feeling. And that's what solo hiking gives me. So yeah, the top 6 reasons I prefer hiking alone are: 1, freedom; 2, peace; 3, knowing that I don't have to be alone if I don't want to be; 4 are the benefits for my mental health; 5 are enjoying the challenges; and 6 is self-reliance. And maybe 7, the sum of all of them is resilience, and that's why I think solo hiking is pretty awesome. But I've learned that when I do hike with other people, it's a whole different experience, which is great, as long as I remember to adapt my expectations and go with the flow. If you're a solo hiker, what would you add to the list? Have I missed anything? I'd love to know what makes you go alone, and maybe you've got something to share that would encourage someone else to give it a try, which would be awesome. Next week, I'm going to share some specific tips for solo hiking and backpacking for beginners that I've learned over decades. So if that's interesting to you, hit the notifications and subscribe and all the rest of it down below so you don't miss it. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.